The sun goes like this around your house.
Who's pee-pee and who's poo-poo?
I-
Brackets, I have my suspicions. Next question is, who would win in a fight?
Oh.
Hey guys, welcome back. So as you would have seen from that little montage, I think I would have done a montage for this. Today's video is somewhat of a little kind of mishmashy thing. It's gonna span the course of today and tomorrow, hopefully. These things don't always go according to plan, but the plan is to film a little bit here today and then a little bit with Charmaine tomorrow because we're finally seeing each other after like a month. She's supposed to be coming to the live sale tomorrow, but she's like, you know, kind of teetering on not feeling very well, and she's like so pregnant now that these things can change on a dime. So like I'm keeping my fingers crossed that she's gonna come to the shop tomorrow. She needs to sell plants. I have plants to give her. She has plants to pass on to me. Hold on, my phone is going off. So the reason why I wanted to film today is because I have some light plant chores and I want to take you along with me, especially for this first one, which is why I'm holding this brush. We're pollinating my dark phoenix, finally. And then I have like a couple more light repots that are like kind of important to do now, but I don't want to do a whole repot thing. But yeah, very random and chatty. So I hope you guys have plant chores. I really see these kinds of videos as stuff that you play in the background while you tend to your life things. And I just keep you kind of company. So yeah, I'm kind of just like procrastinating because I'm quite nervous about pollinating my dark phoenix because like I don't know if it's going to take, first of all, and also this is frozen pollen. This is Pluton. This is Lauren's Pluton pollen. So this is her Pluton, and I've been in love with this plant for so long. It's such a nice Pluton, and it's a plant from Space Hijau, and I just think that that plant plus dark phoenix will be just amazing. I just never have used, have I? No, I've used frozen pollen once before and it did take, but this is the second time, and I feel like there will be several chances to get dark phoenix to take if this doesn't work out, but it's kind of like precious pollen. So let us start with that first. And I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to take my dark phoenix down because, okay, let's just try. Getting her out is one thing, but getting her back in is another thing. Okay, so here's my dark phoenix. It is pushing 3 inflows and a leaf right now. So needless to say, I've been really on top of watering and feeding her, but let me show you the inflow. It's kind of hard to see unless there's like a light source hitting it. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but there's stigmatic fluid production all the way from here. And as I was taking it out, I scraped this inflow along my zipper. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it in this light. I can see it because the light from my softbox is shining from this way, but I see stigmatic fluid production about to here. So that's like more than 2/3 of the way up. So I think it's ready to go. And I'm gonna do a bit today and I'm gonna try to not use all of the pollen, and I'll do a little bit tomorrow. It's pretty busy, but if I can do it a little bit tomorrow, I would ideally do that. It's been sticky for a couple of days now. So honestly, I could probably wait a day, but it just needs to get done because I've never had it flower before now, so I don't know how long it stays sticky for. And just to show you the other flowers, I don't know why all of a sudden, but one more here and then one more emerging down here, and here's that new leaf forming and it's gonna have nice tall ears. I'm so excited. Like it looks like such a rabbit. And judging by the thickness of the petiole and the new leaf, it looks like it's going to be a big one. I don't know why I'm so nervous. It's like not my first time doing this. Also, I'm using an old makeup brush. I haven't used this for pollinating for probably over a year. So there's nothing in there that would contaminate this pollen. And I'll just show you how much pollen I have. It's not bad amount, but it's not a ton. So I'm gonna use up, I wanna say like 2/3 of this pollen today and then go back in tomorrow. I'm just picking some up. I prefer to do it with my fingers, to be honest. This feels a little bit more precise when I'm not using up all of the pollen. Just kind of press it in. The downside of the brush is that obviously you're going to lose some as the pollen gets like trapped inside of the brush. So if you only have like a tiny amount of pollen, I would probably recommend just using your hands. And then I'm gonna go up to about here, which is where I saw the liquid kind of stop. This might trigger it to stop producing stigmatic fluid up above, but I'm gonna do another pass at pollen again tomorrow, just in case, because I really wanna maximize how many berries I get to form on this. This is actually such a pretty inflow. I mean, it's just like all green, but it's kind of like spiky. And I think if it was just my pollen that I was using, I wouldn't feel so nervous just because I have like 2 more flowers coming in. But this one I feel a lot of pressure because it's Lauren's pollen and it's like a plant she's wanted to breed for a really long time. So please keep your fingers crossed. We actually have another breeding related task to do today, which is I need to collect pollen off of my King of Spades, which you might as well just do now. Before we put this one back, just gotta give it a little hat, protect it from other suitors, and we'll put her back now. But just to show you her one more time, this plant took so long to start flowering. Even though I feel like Dark Phoenix takes a long time to actually flower after being in like a flowering age, I actually feel like my plant took an exceptionally long time. Jing actually dug up photos of when we first got our plants because we got them at the same time. And I always thought they were propagated from the same mom, but since our plants look kind of different, I don't know if it's like our conditions, like the light that we give it, the feed that we give it, because we kind of have somewhat different routines. And I wanted to show you this photo because you guys haven't seen it before. I actually haven't seen it until somewhat recently, but I want to show you what it looked like when I first got it. And that would have been around, it was 2021, June, something like that. So it's coming up to 3 years in my care, and we're only just now pollinating it, which feels like good. Not sure if that's like a really long time. It feels like a really long time, but we're finally here. And I would recommend after pollinating an Anthurium just to put a little tag on the inflow to say what was pollinated with, but this one, there's no way I'm gonna forget. And if this is successful, I'm obviously going to be collecting the pollen off these other 2 flowers, but I'm not going to pollinate those because that's just gonna put too much stress on this plant. I'm already expecting it to kind of die back somewhat. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. But as long as it keeps this leaf at least, and maybe this leaf, I'm happy. I know when Jing pollinated hers and it grew berries, it took quite a bit of a hit, but there's like so many leaves on here. I don't mind losing like 2/3 of them. I just really want to hold on to this big one, and obviously whatever this one turns into, because it looks like it's going to be a really tall load guy too. Hopefully it's again another upsize from this, but it's at the point now where it's so full of roots that it's gonna start to stop upsizing. But yeah, the future plan for this is get it to produce some berries first of all, and then after that I'm going to have to repot it into like something bigger than this. I want to keep it in pond for as long as reasonably possible. Okay, next task is to collect pollen off of my King of Spades, which as I'm lifting this right now, she needs water. Okay, one thing at a time. Let's open you up. The inflow is starting to die, so I'm leaving this a little bit late, but I think the pollen could still be usable. But you can see the tip of it starting to look a little, focus. The tip of it is starting to look a little bit dry. Hopefully still okay. So it's better to use dark paper so you can actually see the pollen, but it's fine. I can still see it against the white. So I just take a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, cut it in half, and then I use this as a little catcher, and that can like funnel the pollen into my desired container. I like, what's it called? These little makeup sample containers. I also like those, what are they called? Centrifuge tubes. But I got a few of them from my friend. I get them from friends who work in the healthcare industry. They're like, we have all these extras, take some. And let me just reposition you so you can see this a little bit better. Essentially, I'm just using what I have on hand. I'm not really like buying special equipment for doing any of this stuff. Other than the organza bags, I felt like I didn't really have anything to use. So I have basically plastic sheets. This is like a piece that I had pre-cut for a lazy moss pole that I never used. And this kind of thing won't absorb any of the pollen either. So you're gonna get the max yield out of it. So that's one scraping off one side, but I can see there's still tons left. Anyways, I forgot to say in my intro that tomorrow I don't know how much we're going to film at the shop. It is a live sale day, and we have a lot of prep and stuff to do. We have basically like it's quite a bit of setup work before a live sale. We number all the plants, they go in like specific bins, and we have to put them into a spreadsheet, set up the sales table in some way that works, that can fit all of us. And sometimes it's really easy when it's not like a huge amount of plants, but sometimes we have like 300 plants and it ends up being, well, this is actually a lot of pollen. It ends up being very crowded. The last couple of times since Charmaine was in California, it was just like me and Lauren, and sometimes Andrea's there, and it's not too bad. There were days when there was like me, Lauren, Charmaine, Andrea, and Jing is there to sell Hoyas, and it becomes extremely crowded. And I cannot wait for Jing to come back because everyone's just like, they want Hoyas, and me and Charmaine only have so many to propagate from. So that ended up being so much pollen. I don't know if you guys can see, but just gather it a little bit into the middle. This is probably enough pollen to do two plants. And I'm trying to see if there's anyone receptive right now. Like I have this kind of saved to do my plant, not my plant, one of Charmaine's plants, and possibly one of mine. No one seems to be receptive right at this very moment, which kind of sucks because I prefer to use pollen when it's like just freshly harvested, but that's okay. I'm gonna put this into a centrifuge tube. This one has never been used, but I just labeled it King of Spades, and we're just gonna tip it in. And it's gonna go into a Ziploc bag into the freezer. Don't know if you can see it, but there's the pollen there. And then the next task is I would need to build a collar for my queen Anthurium. This is my raw queenum. This is the green form, not the dark narrow form. It's pretty dark, but you can kind of see it's just like a very subtle tinge of green that's not quite as blue toned as the dark form. This one actually feels kind of, oh my gosh, it needs water. No, I'm gonna water it after I build the collar. So this has like a makeshift collar, but I always wanted to try these Russo pot extenders. This I got from Charmaine. They sent her a whole bunch, and I honestly don't even know how this works. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. So it looks like these little tabs fit into these little slits, and once you fit them together, these little holes act as like ventilation for that little pot extender. So this thing, there's so much stem to build up. I have 3 pot extenders. I think that should cover it. I might only need 2. We shall see. But I'm going to kind of get rid of this little makeshift thing. Even though it works, it's just not going to be the same diameter as the Russo ones. And I want to ideally make it as close to the diameter of this pot as possible. And then we're going to give her some water. It's pushing a leaf. It's pushing an inflow. So I cannot put it off any longer because it's gonna start declining if I don't do something about it right now. So I'm gonna build these first. I'm pretty sure there's a film on it. Yeah. It's so satisfying. And I'm pretty sure there'll be one on the other side. Nope. Is it just on the one side? It might just be on the one side. I am not reading any instructions whatsoever. I actually feel like, oh, I think it makes, yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so let me rewind. So I inserted this top tab on one side. So this one is inserted on the side facing me. And on this side, I'm gonna switch over. So it's inserting on the side facing you. And then I'm gonna switch back over on this one, the last one, and it's gonna go in the side facing me. And that feels stable. I'm gonna pop this on right now and see if I need the third. I might need the third. Try not to disturb this little dirt cake. This is so much fun. Hopefully that just clicks in. Yep. There we go. That's actually enough. Woohoo! I don't know if I can really like nestle this in very much. I'm just gonna kind of slightly nestle it in. I just realized that I was like, I'm gonna put on the widest setting. There's only one setting. It's just one width. So you're not gonna be able to use this collar on something that's like a 4-inch pot, but I don't see why you would need to use this on such a small pot when there's like so many options for larger pots. So I'm gonna try to nestle this down slightly, but I'm really not gonna try to force it down into the substrate. I can still add a little bit more substrate around it. And we're using tree fern soil. So I'm gonna pop it in here first, and then I'll go around it. I really like this pot extender. Like, at first when it came out, I was like, I don't need it because I can just kind of make what I did with this thing. The old one was literally just a piece of plastic. I cut these tabs, so it's the same concept as the lazy pole, and you just kind of hook it. So the slits have to be on opposite sides. You just do that. And in theory, this works, but this just feels a lot sturdier. Like, this is definitely a thicker plastic. I will still continue to use like my old plastic sheets because I still have a lot of it. But since I'm not really like growing that many climbing plants, there's only so many poles I could use. And since I started using the poles from Lauren, I honestly stopped making my own poles. So I just don't have that much use for these plastic sheets. So I would probably use it here and there to construct stuff, but this seems a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than my homemade pot extenders. And my pot extenders, if I wanted to have holes for aeration, I'd have to cut those or like hole punch them myself. Now I'm just gonna fill in the pot. It's mainly for stability. Oh my gosh, I'm making such a mess. Oh my gosh, I just vacuumed. Later me is gonna be so mad. She usually doesn't have time for my nonsense. I already know later me is gonna be exhausted because I have so much to do today. I was supposed to FaceTime, do like my monthly FaceTime with Charmaine and Amanda today, and then Charmaine was feeling really not well. Like kind of not well, but she's more like just so fatigued that she can't even keep her eyes open. So we took a rain check and I was like, that's great. I have so much stuff to do. It kind of helps that I have some extra time because whenever we FaceTime, it's like easily 2-3 hours, which is great. But today is just not the day where I feel very relaxed with a lot of time to spare. I'm just trying to fill this up as much as possible. And even so, the stem, there's still a couple of, you know, opportunities to pile it up more. So once these 2 leaves go, it'll be time to add one more layer. And now we gotta water her because she was feeling really light. For a little while, I was watering this like so seldomly. I was probably watering it every like 3 weeks, if that. And it never felt like it needed water all the time. But now, since she's like actually growing, I'm still on the old watering schedule. Not that I go by a schedule, but I'm not watering it as often as I should, which results in browning tips like that. Like this is underwatering. This is also underwatering. The tip starts to go yellow. And it usually doesn't happen to the newest leaf until like the others have started to decline. So when I just focused on looking at the new leaf, I sometimes miss that I've underwatered this plant. Just by lifting it, it didn't seem quite as heavy as I'd like it to be. So we're gonna go in a little bit more. Okay, she's done. She looks like a wedding cake, chocolate wedding cake. You know what? I will sweep. I will sweep. The next task I have to do casually, I have to repot my Carla. I am still in shock that it's this size. And I predicted that it would be in caterpillar after this leaf, and it is. And you can see there's a little caterpillar kind of hiding in there. It hasn't poked out yet, but it's definitely time to repot this thing because it's quite full of roots. They're kind of poking out the bottom. They're swirling around the bottom of the pot. This leaf was the one prior. This leaf, I don't even think it's going to expand that much. It is still somewhat floppy, but I don't think there's that much left in it. At this point, I'm looking at it and it's like even slightly smaller than this one, which tells me that it's not going to upsize anymore in this size of a pot. So we're going to just preempt the next leaf because up until now, it's been pushing a leaf constantly. So the next leaf starts to emerge out of the petiole before the previous one is hardened off, like when it's still kind of in that like reddish phase. So I'm thinking if I don't move it into a bigger pot now, it's going to take longer to push the next leaf. I mean, it also could be taking a little bit of like a slowdown now that it's hit caterpillar, but we're going to get into the next size pot because I feel better about it anyways. Since this is quite full of roots, it starts to dry out faster. So we're going to quickly repot this. I don't even have like my whole like potting mat and stuff. Really just going to do this very ad hoc. And we're not going to get into the biggest pot. It's only going to be a somewhat small upsize from this, but it's definitely bigger. And we're just gonna repot in this bin. Really don't want to break any roots. I'm going to be as careful as possible. It appears we did not break any roots. I'm just gonna transfer its old leca into this new pot. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's a few stragglers kind of hanging onto these roots, so I'm just gonna leave them on. I feel like I'm gonna have just enough tree fern soil for this. After this, I'm going to have to mix up a new batch. It's actually perfect timing because I need to film my tree fern soil video. This is literally the jankiest repotting setup I've ever done. Okay, lift you up. Look at this little mushroom I just pulled out. I don't know if I'm gonna regret not putting her in the biggest possible pot. I'm just very aware that I'm trying to remember how many plants I have probably coming home with me this week. It's gonna be like, they're not big plants. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 10 plants or so. They're really small. So I'm just kind of nervous about space at this moment. I think if I was to not care about space, it would have definitely gone into the largest possible pot and it would be able to live in there a little bit longer. So I most likely will have to repot this in about 2 months, which is, it's not so bad, especially when I'm kind of reusing all the substrate each time. Just using the plant tag to fill in any empty pockets. This leaf actually is a lot floppier than I thought it was earlier. I think it's because it was like behind this leaf when it was growing. So I'm gonna just do this so it stops scraping itself. It actually still fits in that dollar store drawer organizer thing, which is good to know. It actually fits kind of perfectly. I'm gonna do some great white, of course, and then pop her back in. Something like that. Is that all the tasks I had for the day? Oh, I need to look at some props. I honestly don't think I'm gonna have that much to sell tomorrow. Is there anything in here? One thing I do know is I have a couple of plants that are going to leave me and go to Charmaine. So the first one is this BVEP chunk. It was cut from my BVEP that I got from Amanda, originally from Grant, and I don't know which BVEP he bred for that. So that one, and also there's a very, very sad looking plant. This is Ace of Spades green form. This leaf was just jaw-droppingly beautiful, so narrow, so dark. And then I separated it from the mother plant. It was a little offset and it just freaked out. But It's now pushed a leaf. It's rooted. But this plant, I warned her. I was like, this plant is not easy. She throws lots of hissy fits all the time. My mother plant is like just recovering from a hissy fit, but I just give her time. She's gonna throw another hissy fit. I haven't really figured out how to keep this like from yellowing because the leaves never stay pristine for very long. It's like the nice emergent, like perfect leaf, and then immediately will just gradually start to yellow on the edges. They really don't last as long as most of my anthuriums. So she's like, great, perfect, just what I need. I just know there's other stuff that needs to go to her. I just don't know what. Even when we don't see each other for like 2 weeks, we usually have this whole list of like, I need to give this to you. Oh, you have this for me. I need to keep like a legit note in my phone so I won't forget stuff. But we haven't seen each other in like a month. So there's like a lot of stuff. I feel like I must have more stuff for her. Anyways, I just looked at the time and it's way later than I had anticipated filming. So I need to get editing. But yeah, that is it for today. I think the next time you'll see me will be in the car with Charmaine. So I'll see you tomorrow. Wait, before we go.
Oh my god. I've developed
Try It's the Oreo with Pop Rocks inside.
What? Where did you get this?
You're either gonna love it or you hate it.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, I love it.
How do they not get the Pop Rocks to activate in the Oreo cream?
Oh yeah, because it gets wet, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is so good. Ooh, you got this.
Save on.
How do you always find everything with Pop Rocks? I haven't stopped thinking about that chocolate you got me with Pop Rocks.
Try this.
What on
It's
earth?
freeze-dried strawberries covered in like strawberry white chocolate. So it's like so intense.
Archie's gonna be bouncing off my uterus walls. Okay.
I feel like chocolate and strawberry is not gonna clash. It's really sweet.
I'm popping.
Oh, the first time I was like, oh, that's too much. And then now I'm obsessed with them. You can get them at Costco. And I'm like already freaking out because I'm starting to run out.
I wish there were Pop Rocks in it. Oh my god, that's so good.
Isn't it? And I think
Yummy.
most men won't like that. I don't actually. Vince might.
Vince?
Like, yeah.
Okay, anything with sugar.
Because I was saying like I get to have the whole bag to myself.
Gee, does he like more like?
He hates white chocolate. He thinks it's disgusting.
I don't get how anybody could hate white chocolate.
He's
honestly.
like, it's too sweet.
Okay, fine, I could see that.
And he just likes dark chocolate. He can kind of tolerate milk chocolate.
But he likes freaking
he would-
Hershey's. Or not Hershey's.
Yeah, the American Hershey's that tastes like vomit.
It's so weird. One trip, she was like, "Can you get me a bar of Hershey's?" I was like, "Okay."
And it wasn't for me.
No,
and I tried it. I was like, I don't know if I like that.
No, it's just
I'm
it's the
really
worst
freaking
kind
hot.
of chocolate. I turned on the air for you.
Oh, thank you.
Are you pregnant?
No, but people do think that I am
Why?
because they get us mixed up.
Congratulations.
One time, I posted on Instagram my usual kind of caption, and someone was like, "Oh, that's pregnancy delusion or pregnancy
brain.
Yeah." I'm like,
What the
I can
heck?
assure you, it's not.
You're like,
It's
trust me.
Yeah, it's really not.
Trust me.
So we have probably just a handful of questions that are probably good to answer on our little, because our trip is going to be really short.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no it's a holiday
17
today.
17 minutes, which is a record.
Yeah. What's your favorite question you want to answer?
Had I read the questions, I would.
Oh,
know.
yeah. Okay, so let's start it off.
Oh,
Okay.
a barricade.
Who's pee-pee and who's poo-poo? Brackets, I have my suspicions.
I'm pee-pee.
I'm poo-poo. This is based on the color of the shirts that we were wearing when we first said pee-pee poo-poo. I was wearing a brown shirt, she was wearing a yellow shirt.
Yeah.
But then if you're like basing it on personality,
I think I'm poo-poo. And she's pee-pee because she's more mild than I am. Like, way more mild.
poo-poo was very concentrated.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I'm also curious. This was Par's question. So Par, if you're watching this, can you just reveal what your suspicions were?
I know. I want to know.
Who was pee-pee and poo-poo? And then another question was like, I hope you guys were serious about the pee pee poo poo podcast.
I
Like,
am.
is that still happening? We haven't done anything on it, but because we're so freaking busy.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Every time.
You know, it's been a long time.
I know. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I think we just get overwhelmed with thinking about how the
setup
and everything. It's like one of those things where you just keep pushing it off, but you want to do it. Like cleaning your oven, you know?
Oh my gosh, I've had my can of oven cleaner out for a week. And I'm like, oh, but I have to bake.
I've never cleaned my oven.
Never once?
Not even once.
Oh, wow.
But I don't use it that much.
That's true. I
don't
use my oven all the time.
I use my microwave the most.
But it's like so easy to cook dinner. Just throw something in the oven.
That's
like if you're making even like bacon, wouldn't you just throw it in the oven?
Air fryer is way easier than the oven.
But the cleaning of the basket with all the bacon grease.
It's honestly not bad. I thought that cleaning my air fryer was going to be a pain in the butt, but it's not. Like you literally just turn the air fryer on, like melt the grease and then throw away the grease. And then
I always just make it cold and then wipe it away.
That's so hard. Because I have a little like jar that I put all like my old oil.
Oh, I just wipe and then
the whole basket is dishwasher safe. So I just shove the whole thing in
yeah,
there.
that's true. My basket, I don't know how, but one of the screws came out and it must have just gone down my drain. So now it's kind of like wobbly and every time I have to wash it, I always dread it.
Can you reach out to them and ask if they can?
Maybe, or maybe I can just go to the hardware store and find a matching one.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of a spacer and a tiny, tiny nut.
By the way, if you want the perfect crispy bacon, throw it in the air fryer.
Temperature?
At 390 for 10 minutes. It is just...
Well, that's what we'll do on Tuesday. We'll have bacon sandwiches air fried on sourdough with ketchup.
Sorry. I have to go pick up some cough drops, I think.
Do you want to stop at the corner store?
I was thinking at the 7-Eleven would probably have it because I'm going to be hacking during the live sale. And I don't have COVID, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I just had COVID, so you can't touch me. Questions.
Oh, yeah, questions.
There was one that is just going to be a quick one because I don't even know why someone would ask me this in particular. They were like, what kind of light do Anthuriums like? North facing, east facing, west?
Okay, well, you know what? This is not a question for Alice.
No.
She's directionally challenged.
I was saying to Charmaine, I think it's an actual disability because I mentioned this before, like I don't understand directions. It doesn't compute in my brain. And I seriously do not understand what's the difference between, like, other than the actual direction, what's the difference between the quality of light when it's east facing and west facing? Because I don't get natural light, so it makes no difference to me.
And it's so funny because, like, you're, like, you know all, like, the nitty-gritty of, like, pHs and, like...
Not really. Like, like the surface of it. Okay, so the only reason I know that the sun rises in the east is because of Lion King. Is it Lion King? Mm-hmm. Rising. Beauty and the Beast. Oh.
Tale as old as
so every time I'm like, which way does the sun rise? Rising in the east.
Oh my gosh.
But actually, is there a difference? Is it different intensity?
Yeah, there is different intensity.
Okay. What about south? Because it's like more
south is
diffused.
Like the strongest.
Strongest?
Yes. South you can burn the shit out of your plants. I have a south facing window and some of my plants that have been there have just done so terribly.
So is north the weakest?
I would say north is probably the weakest. Like I would say.
But then if it's direct sunlight, why is it weaker? This is such basic stuff. But I don't.
In a north facing window, you wouldn't get direct sunlight because of the way the sun moves. The sun goes like this around your house.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Oh, I guess he was trying to get out of the way. Yeah. So the sun does not rotate around your house; it just goes over it. That's your
So
tip and
what's
trick of the
but
day.
okay, but why is east and west different intensity?
Because the light is stronger in the day than at sunset. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what would
Like
Anthurium like?
afternoon light. Like if it were my choice to grow Anthurium, I would say probably east facing and west. North might be good too because it's not like Anthurium need like a crazy amount of light. I would grow them basically in any facing window besides south because I think that would be way too strong. I've burned philodendron in my south facing window, and I'm pretty
But they
sure
get direct light.
Direct light, yeah.
But if it's indirect light from the south, then it's probably really good.
Ow. Yes, my living room shelf gets indirect light from. Actually, it gets a good amount of direct light for little hours of the day, but mostly indirect, which is why they do so well there in like the spring and summer.
Oh. Okay, well, thank you for answering that question.
Watch, I got everything wrong, and everyone starts roasting me in the comments.
It's better than being directionally challenged. If you took me, let's say we were at the shop and you just walked me 3 blocks away and you're like, find your way back. Could not do
Poor
it.
thing.
I could not do it. So if you were to kidnap me and just plop me anywhere, even if it's like 5 blocks from my house, I'd be like, without phones.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Well, good thing you were born in the time you were born, because what if you had to use like
yeah, because at least it was remember when you had to like map quest something before going somewhere and write it down on a little notebook, and I'd be like driving with my little notebook.
Yep, I remember those days.
Yeah, my dad used to have to draw me maps before I go anywhere. And then I have to go there again. Can you draw me the map again?
He's like, you were just there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm really bad at math. Like embarrassingly bad. To the point where I do think it's also a disability.
I tried to flunk out of my math class just so I could drop it. So then I started to like, because there's multiple choice, so I just started like I just went through the test like randomly selecting, and then I kept getting like 80% just by chance. So I was like, can you just let me drop it?
I just want to fail. Well, when I was enrolled in community college the first time, like after high school, I took a stats class. During the first quiz, I had no freaking idea what I was looking at. So I just walked out of class and dropped out of school that day. Like I dropped out like completely.
Yeah, that like I feel like sciences and math in high school gives you a false sense of confidence
for sure.
Yeah, and then like because I loved biology in high school, so I was like, I'm gonna take biology in university. Oh my gosh, I was like,
so different.
I was just crying while I was studying. I was like, I don't get it. And my mom was like, that's fine. Remember one time in university I got 8% on my final exam. So if it's like so she was like, it's not gonna be that bad. And I got 8%. I got like 55% or something. But those are the classes where they weed out the ungifted folk for med school, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm not doctor material, clearly.
Oh, I've known that my whole life. And I wanted to be a nurse. I never would have made it through nursing school. There's no.
Yeah, I don't think I have that kind of discipline.
No.
That academic discipline.
For sure.
Okay, so one question came up for me and for you. I don't know exactly what they mean. How to be more patient with your plants when you're anxious? So like, do you mean like you're anxious about the plant, or like anxiety makes you want to like do plant care and overdo things?
Oh God, sorry, I didn't receive this guy watching. I read that question as like if you're just like with your mental health, like you're anxious, and you know how it's when you're anxious, it's hard to like really focus on anything. It's hard to like be present. It's hard to be like calm and stuff. So like in the times where you have to be very patient with your plants, like how do you get through that, I guess? In the times of like but I think it's opposite for me, because when I am super, super anxious, I lean on my plants to like bring me back to zen.
Yeah, so I feel like if that's the way that question was meant to be, then I feel like trying not to like over mess with your plants, you can just just like take pictures of them, like rearrange them.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Rearranging.
Yeah, it's like it's very refreshing
Mm-hmm.
and gives you something to do with your hands without possibly messing up your plant or making it freak out.
Yeah. And it just kind of like changes like the energy in a space.
Yeah.
That's why I love, like, some people have commented like, how do you have the patience to like
Rearrange things all the time?
like gut your shelf? Because that's
Mhm.
something I do often. I remove all the plants from my living room shelf and I put it back in because I just feel like it
In
like
a different way.
yeah, I don't know, it just like makes the space look so much different. Or even just moving one plant from there to across the room, it's just like, oh, that felt nice.
Yeah, it's like when you push your bed around as a kid.
Yeah.
You feel like you have a new room.
Oh my god, dude. I used to move my bedroom around like once a month. My mom would go crazy. She's like, you're banging on the wall. It's like 2 in the morning. Like flipping my mattress.
Yeah. But then like if it's related to plant, sorry,
No.
Okay. If it's related to plant care and you're like scared about the plant and like how not to keep messing with it because you're scared that it's not happy.
Yeah.
I think unless it's like urgent emergency kind of thing where you need to rescue a plant from rot or something.
Yeah.
I feel like the experimental stuff should always be done on plants that you don't care as much about.
Yeah.
It also helps, I think, to just document the process and get a second opinion on with like people you feel like maybe have more experience and like whether they think everything looks fine. But the messing with it, that's how you learn. So that will pass over time as you trust the process.
And I think the fear of like failure goes away after a certain amount of time too. Like I remember before just being so incredibly stressed about like repots and plants that like had pests that were going downhill. Now it's kind of just like, I don't know, it just is a part of it. And it's like once you get to know your plants more and like understand the hobby more, it's like you almost know what to do. Like you know it's gonna be fine eventually. But I do think I think I mentioned, I don't remember which video I mentioned this in, but like I think just being in the plant hobby requires so much patience in general. Like
to get the most out of it.
Yeah, because it's not like you're ever gonna see like instant results. You know, it's like everything we do in this hobby takes so much time and care. So I think if you're a person that has no patience and you like instant results, I don't think this hobby is probably the best one for you. And that's just me.
Yeah.
Because I think it would just trigger your anxiety more. Like,
I think those people who need that tend to just buy, like they end up having to spend more money because they have to buy big plants that are fully established and you pay a premium for it. But there's a way to navigate the hobby when you want instant gratification. I
think to a certain extent I kind of have both qualities of like the patience and also wanting instant gratification, because I have this tendency, and I'm sure you know this, I have this tendency to like bring home huge plants because I don't know, I like the feeling of bringing it home, and I like seeing it in my house. And
have the space to be able to do that.
Yeah. And before I got into aeroids, I just wanted the big ones. Like, but now I really like starting small, you know.
This question kind of ties into that. Do you guys ever crave minimalism even with all your plants?
Yes, I do.
You're way more minimalist than I am. I don't think I'll ever be a minimalist, so I don't crave it. But I do crave more empty space sometimes. But I could never be a minimalist.
Yeah.
I like things too much.
I get anxious when I think about having too many things, which is why I'm constantly cleaning and purging my house. Because the thought of having too many things makes me crazy.
Yeah.
With plants though, I don't think that it's as bad as with stuff around the house.
Yeah, unless they're like struggling. Feels like clutter.
Yeah, that's the only time where I'm like, God, I wish I just had like 15 plants to take care of. But I know that if I had 15 plants, I think I would not be happy. I think I would get bored. Because it's like, I don't know, when you have as many plants as we do, it's like there's always something new every day. But it's a fine line, right? Like you have to know balance. But
so there was another question that also ties into this. Like, how has your relationship to plants changed since doing YouTube?
Oh, that's a good one. I will say that in the beginning, I kind of felt like I was obligated to keep every plant that I had. I was obligated to like show, I don't know, I was obligated to have a huge collection because then like I wouldn't have enough content.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, screw that. Like I'm the one that has to take care of it, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's hard when, I think a lot of YouTubers talk about this, where it's difficult to just like what you like and show what you like when you know that certain plants draw views.
Yeah.
I'm kind of grateful that I feel that pressure, but then I never, or not maybe never, have I ever? I can't think of a time that I really just made content on stuff that I did not care about just for views.
No, I don't think you've done that.
And like also keep plants that I don't care about just so I can talk about it on YouTube.
Right. No,
because I feel like Monstera videos are very like, because they're, even for non-plant people, they're plants that get interest.
Yeah.
But I have like 3 Monstera, I think.
Yeah, my Monstera collection isn't massive. It's definitely bigger than yours, but I don't really ever do like dedicated Monstera content.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna go grab. I'm gonna get cough drops. Burb.
Oh, do we need hard candy for the live?
Yeah, probably. I can. What do you like?
I will buy it for you. I don't know anything. Oh my gosh, she bought so much stuff. She bought all the goodies.
They don't have a lot of hard candy options.
Okay, I'll buy lunch.
How is that the same?
And you also drove.
She's so weird. Every time we have this argument, she's like, you drove. It's my choice because I get car sick.
The next question is, who would win in a fight?
Oh, well, probably Alice.
Physically?
She'd probably stomp me out.
But
I have no upper body strength. I honestly think you would win.
Physically, I think I'm stronger and bigger. But in your heart, your bravery.
I would win a verbal fight. She would win a physical fight.
You also, like, pregnancy strength is a thing.
Yeah, so, but I also am waddling like crazy right now.
Oh yeah, so I just have to tire you out by like running circles around you. I don't know. I feel like it would be a pretty even match because, like, you know, my attack strength is higher. But your how would you characterize your strength in terms of like a video game character?
Oh, strength. I have
whose agility is better? Right now, me. Yeah, but in general, if you weren't pregnant, your agility is probably better.
Maybe, but I have sciatica, so.
Well, that would play into endurance.
I just think in general, if you just from a whole, I think Alice would win in a fight.
So when we get inside, I want to show them your plants, all your little props that you're selling.
Oh, and your I brought your plants.
Oh too. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna show them in this video. I'm gonna gather all the plants and then do a separate video.
I know. I almost showed it on my channel when I did my like coming home thing, but I was like, no, I think.
I mean, you could have. I wouldn't mind.
No, I think it should have been on your channel first.
Okay, we're here. See you guys inside. Oh, have a cough drop.
Dude, my whole family was sick in California. Everyone was sick, and I didn't get sick.
Is this the exact same stuff?
No. I ran errands 3 days ago, and I was fully masked, and then the next day I was sick. How does that make sense? I went to Home Sense and the dollar store, and that's it.
Maybe it was just brewing in your body for that.
Because there's no way. Like,
you haven't been home that long.
Weird. Okay.
Okay, bye. So where we left off, I said, when we get to the shop, I'm going to show you what I'm selling. I'm going to show you what Charmaine's selling. And then we got there and I just carried on living
With
my
your
life.
day.
Yeah, didn't do
see that
anything. And I was like,
camera
oh, I
once.
guess I can't just end the video there. So it's the following week and we're going to the shop again. So I thought maybe we will just finish answering the questions because I think we got through like 3.
Yeah,
maybe.
we got so sidetracked.
But there was a interesting question I wanted to hear your opinion on.
Okay.
The one, can you read the one that's about long videos?
Oh. How do you feel?
You're not in the frame at all.
How do you feel about the uptick in long form plant content? In parentheses, you were first. Haha.
Okay, well, just side question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any sort of YouTube video is long form, right?
Yeah.
It's just like
I
it's
think
not a short or TikTok.
Yeah, I think they mean like
Long
really long
form.
videos, like over an hour and a half or something. Or over an
I
hour.
would say like even over 45 minutes is pretty long, right?
Yeah, I would say that the majority of like videos that I watch on YouTube are less than 45 minutes.
And I do feel like it's way more common now because I don't think maybe even like before 2020, not that I was watching that much plant YouTube, so maybe it was just like the YouTubers I was watching was only putting out like 20-minute videos.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems a lot more common now. But
do longer.
it's also people wanting long videos too.
Yeah,
so
I think
do what the audience kind of
I
want.
think as long as there's demand there and you see what's popular, then you go with it. I think the only thing I would say is like if there's something that's very specific to my channel and like there's
it's
no
extremely
credit.
long.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care if people do it, but I mean like
length of video is not it's not proprietary to anyone, right? But then like if you did something that was something that you specifically had done
like a week of.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do a week of. It's just if you got the idea from me, it would be nice to at least be like, oh yeah, I got this idea from so and so. You know what I mean?
And those are your very long videos.
Yeah.
For me, I just like I can't do anything too short unless it was like a one-off kind of reference video. I feel like would be the only thing that would be in the 20-minute realm, but I couldn't even think of a thing. Like I was going to make like a reference type tree fern soil video, and I was like, that will probably be really short. People can just like quickly watch it. And I was like thinking of all the stuff I would do, and then I'm already thinking it's going to be like an hour-long video. For me, I'm like, okay, so the people watching are probably way smarter than me, so I don't want to like insult their intelligence by giving them something like really surface level.
Yeah.
Not that I am the expert on anything, but then I always also feel like I owe every topic like some time.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's true. And I don't think that I don't know, for me, I feel like people in general who are watching plant YouTube aren't automatically thinking that they're like so much smarter than everyone else, because I think those kinds of people with that mindset, they're not watching. I don't think they're even watching plant YouTube. You know what I mean? I think
that's true.
Yeah. And at the same time, I don't think that your channel specifically is even really catered to people who are like super beginners. That dog just hit the crosswalk sign.
That's cool. I saw it jump up. Oh,
Yeah.
Now it's sitting for a treat.
Oh my gosh, he's so smart.
Such a good boy.
I look so round, dude. Pregnancy weight is catching up to your girl. Round.
If you
So
look
round.
at any of our collab videos from more like the beginning of my channel, we look like completely different people.
We look like babies.
We-
And I have so much
I think
makeup on.
I think I almost look older because I was skinnier, and now I'm like so round in the face.
You're not round. You're like an
like
oval.
when I edit my videos, I'm like, oh, this didn't used to be there.
Stop it. Is the heater on? I think I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it feels really
I was like,
warm.
wait, I'm choking. We got sidetracked again.
Oh yeah, so the long videos.
Yeah, just to answer the question, I don't have a problem with people making long form plant videos. I feel like people see that that's what people want, because we typically tend to put a video on while we're doing plant stuff, and we don't want to have to like change it all the time. Nor do I or have ever claimed that I was like the only or even first person to make a super long plant video, you know? I would just say my only thing is, if another plant YouTuber gets an idea from my channel specifically, I would appreciate the credit, just because, you know, any traction back to my channel helps me.
I'm sorry, oh my gosh, it's
so
fully on
lovely.
me now. Hold on. I have the phone.
I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Okay.
And you can insert it.
The phone is on a magnetic holder. The plant Velcro is like looped around my rear view mirror, and you guys are just like,
I didn't think it was gonna move. I think you need a different mount for when you film.
It's because the mic makes everything so heavy.
Yeah,
but when I film just with the phone, it's fine.
So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
Yeah, I think it's nice because, like, obviously if your audience is like really happy whenever you do put out a long video, then obviously you're gonna
keep doing it.
You're doing what works for your channel. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's a really nice thing about plant YouTube, is that it's a companionship rather than just pure entertainment. Obviously they're like entertainment style channels, but like I think it's nice that...
But I think in our niche, it's like, it's nice because a lot of the people who are watching plant YouTube are putting it on while they're doing other things.
Yeah.
So like having a long video is actually more attractive, I guess. Like if I'm gonna watch plant YouTube, I'm not putting on like a 20-30 minute video. I'm gonna make sure that whatever video I'm watching is at least like an hour long, so that I don't have to touch it. But I honestly don't really watch that much plant YouTube, and I've talked about it before. I think it's because I get so burnt out. Like our days are just, it's just so much plants, taking care of plants, filming, editing. It's just so much plants. So when I'm watching YouTube, I kind of just want it to be something different, you know?
Well, when I'm doing stuff, I'm not on YouTube. I'm on YouTube when I get ready in the morning, but then if I'm like pottering around the house doing chores, I'd have probably a podcast on.
Sometimes I get tired of podcasts. I don't know. I mean, I'm like rotating between maybe like 6 different podcasts right now. But
you know, a podcast I want to try. I haven't tried it yet, but I just saw a recommendation for it, for like kind of a sleep aid, kind of putting your mind at rest if you're like have a lot of thoughts preventing you from like getting rest, or like you need your mind to go to bed. It's called Nothing Ever Happens, I think. So it's like bedtime stories, but nothing ever really happens. It's not like
no like climax,
compelling story or anything. It's just like just kind of mundane, but really like it's supposed to be really cozy and like calming. I want to try that one.
That sounds interesting.
Because I feel like anyone who has insomnia, kind of because of anxiety or
racing thoughts,
and your mind just gets really active before bed, maybe that might be nice.
I was watching a TikTok about this couple, like one of them has anxiety, one of them doesn't, kind of like me and Vince, and she asked him like, oh, so like what do you think about before you go to bed? And he was like, nothing. She's like, what? He's like, yeah, nothing, I just close my eyes and it's just quiet. And she's like, what?
Did you ever ask Vince that?
No, but I'm pretty sure he'd say the same thing. He's like, yeah, the least anxious person ever. He's just so zen.
I actually I don't have the racing thoughts at night keeping me up.
Oh, it must be nice.
It more happens during the day.
That's so distracting. Well, yeah, I think I have racing thoughts like all the time. But it's like really bad at night because I think that's when I'm just like, I'm not distracted by anything.
Yeah.
I'm just alone with my thoughts.
Yeah. Maybe it's also like, you know, you get into a cycle and that's what your brain trains itself. That's the time that it does those things.
Yeah.
And partakes in those activities. Because like
Stupid
you,
brain.
like why would our brains have like these cool ideas in the shower all the time?
Yeah.
But like have intrusive thoughts before bed.
Oh gosh, it's so cruel.
I think we made it to the more smooth road now.
Yeah, have fun editing this.
I know. I'm so sorry. I wasn't even looking, and then I looked at it. Was like,
Stabilizer on Final Cut Pro is gonna be like error.
It's gonna do that thing.
It's gonna do the little square. God, we've answered one question. This is not any better than last time. This one's easy. What does Indo mean in Anthurium names?
Indo means don't take this seriously.
Don't take this seriously.
Like if it's an Indo whatever species name, it's like not actually pure that.
Yeah.
Indo dress probably doesn't even have dress in it.
Yeah.
Indo mag is probably mixed with crystallina, maybe a bit of forgetii. Oh, it's still bumpy. I'm sorry. Indo usually just means like not pure, can't be verified.
Are the genetics of two seeds from the same berry identical?
Oh yeah, that question. I have no idea.
I actually have no idea either.
I doubt it. Like I think the genes are the same, but then the expression of those genes, no. But I'm not a genetics expert. Can you imagine? Yeah. I'd be a genius if I was. Nobody would be able to talk to me. I'd be so smug.
It's just a matter of time. You're gonna go down a rabbit hole.
People spend their like entire lives and careers studying it. And I'm like,
I watched
just a matter of time.
Video,
just watch out.
Just you wait. I'm coming up. Yeah, I don't know actually, but if someone in the comments does,
I would doubt it.
I feel like I would doubt it too. It's almost like twins.
Yeah.
Like fraternal twins, right?
Yeah. I'm sure there might be a botanist or someone studying botany in the comments who might be able to clarify, but I would doubt it.
Yeah.
There's also plants that might be genetically identical, like clones, but the way that aeroids are, like, and how the expression of those genes, no two leaves are identical, right? Because like aeroids, like I think we're talking about anthuriums, are so variable and so visually like distinct that you can have like almost like facial recognition on a leaf. It's like how I knew my veitchii got pop socketed, because I was like, that is my leaf. I saw it and I recognized that leaf, and like it could be genetically identical to another veitchii that was cut from that veitchii, but then visually they don't look the same anyways. So sometimes I feel like there's like maybe too much of like a hang up on cuttings versus like the value of a cutting versus a self or whatever. I feel like there is a bit of artificial value placed on it. But again, like whatever someone values willing to pay for, that essentially becomes its true value.
Exactly.
That's kind of veering off topic again. Well,
and I mean, to elaborate on that, I think I saw a discussion in a Facebook thread where they were talking about clones. And someone was just like, oh, like automatically a clone is going to be more expensive or more sought after, but it really just depends on the plant. Like, let's say I was offered like an Anthurium mag, like something really common, right? A seed versus a cloned cutting. Unless the cutting came from a plant where it's like showing characteristics that I want specifically, then yeah, I'm gonna pay more for that clone, but I'm not gonna pay more for a cutting just because it's a cutting. Or a clone, right? So yeah, to say that like all clones, all cuttings are gonna be
as a blanket thing,
are inherently more, it's like, that's not true. It's people go after certain clones because they want a clone of that specific plant, not just a clone of a magnificent plant.
Yeah, like there are certain plants that I would find it really hard not to just like sell a bunch of stuff just to buy a cutting of that plant. One example is like the Black Widow Michelles. There's just a few out there that look just like Black Widow, and they're I guess it's quite a recessive gene, that very spidery, wiry veining. But then equally, if let's say you had a pure species, like let's say Amanda's RA5 selfed, the offspring are pretty variable. Like I think some of them are really round and some of them have taller lobes. But like one of those offspring could be genetically like superior to her original, or like in from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want, honestly.
Yeah. And I guess like her mother plant is like has that brand. The camera is like,
oh my gosh.
Her plant is like a Rory clone, I think. So there's that. But then like it's just, I think we can't get away from putting brands on things. Like there always needs to be like a luxury tier of everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really natural like mindset to fall into, I guess.
Yeah. I think people
total
would
tangent.
be so surprised, like someone like Vince, that there's like a luxury
Plant
tier of plants.
Yeah. It's not just like a luxury tier. It's like a luxury plant, but like a luxury tier of that plant. Like there's like a papillanum, but then there's like a brand name attached to it too.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna have room for one more. Pros and cons of sharing your plant journey online. This one too complicated for a last question. It's a good topic though.
I mean, pros, I think it's all opened up a lot of opportunity for us, and it's helped us to make a hobby like quite meaningful.
Yeah. Being
part of a community and being able to do like something with it.
Yeah. Making friends. I'll say cons is like
a feeling pressure.
Yeah, sometimes I feel the pressure to, like, if I do something with a plant, I feel pressure for it to succeed because people expect or like an update or something.
You almost like can't just sit back and just enjoy the hobby alone. You almost like, oh, I should film this, or like if I don't do that and I don't film and later on I show it again is totally different, like I feel like, oh, I should have like documented it, so it won't be like such a weird jump.
It would be nice to like just be in the hobby sometimes and not think about the content that you could do with it and just enjoy the plants. But it just kind of comes with it, you know. You kind of have to take every opportunity to document something or like make it into a video because, you know, we're putting out videos every week, but
twice a week for you.
I would say that that's a pretty minor con though.
Yeah, if the pros didn't far outweigh the cons, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
I think we're both like, we do what we like, do what we want, don't tell me what to do, and if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to do it. Yep, exactly. And right now it's enjoyable. Okay, so
anyway,
this is the end of the video. I don't have time to film when I get home. Are you filming today?
No.
No. I mean, you can if you want. You can use my mic too.
No.
No.
I should be filming a week of per my filming schedule, but I always try and film as early as possible for a week of because I like to have it edited and done a week before.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of ways that she could just passively be filming while she's already doing what she's doing. Like, she doesn't have to do like a big long filming. They're just like, oh, I filmed for 6 hours today. I'm like, you should be sleeping.
That was wild. But I am thinking about going live with Alice soon. So.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, I don't have to edit that. It just goes up.
You can just hang out. Just do something like this.
Yeah. But then I don't know, it's kind of scary thinking about content going on your channel that's not edited, but
It's
whatever.
terrifying, but if you think about it, we've gone live on Instagram.
I know, I think that helped, like, that helped a bit, so.
Yeah, and if you really don't want to put it up like that, just download it and then edit it. Yeah, and put it back up.
That's a good idea. She has so many good ideas.
She does
this
too.
one. So many good ideas. Anyway,
Okay, we're gonna go inside. Thank you guys so much for watching this mishmash.
Mishmash.
We love you so much. See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.